Very good afternoon to all our students, third year students, and our honorable expert, sir, Dr. Somnath, sir. First of all, I'll introduce our guest lecturer, okay, today. So, we are having our expert with us, Dr. Somnath Thigale. He is an associate professor in SBThigale Education Research and Institute, College of Engineering, Pandharpur, in Computer Science and Engineering Department. Okay, he has completed his PhD in Computer Science and Engineering, and he is having more than 15 years of experience, out of which 8 years in academic and 7 years as a IBM Rational Certified Consultant, trainer, and the practitioner. Okay, and also he is having more than 25 plus international, national level publications through reputed journal and the conference. And also he has worked as a key role as a reviewer for various national and international journals. Okay, and along with this also he has received many awards. From that, one of the award is nothing but the Best Researcher Award in the 7th International Scientist Award on Engineering. He has also received the Vedant Educator Excellence Award also, and also he has received the award in IMRF Young Scientist Award in the Computer Science. Along with also he has received the AKS Global Teacher Award in 2020. Okay, and from in today's lecture he is going to explore you about the UML. Fine. So over to you, sir. Somnath, sir.
Thank you, ma'am, for nice introduction, and it's a really great pleasure to be giving this opportunity to interact. Okay, so I, Dr. SomnathThigale, welcome you all for this session. Let me share my screen. Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Only one thing, dear students, so don't consider this as your regular class that only one person will speak and rest of you has to listen. I want the whole session, whatever the time will be here, we'll try to have more and more interactions. So this kind will be, I am expecting to having a kind of a one-to-one interactive session. So what I'm going to do today, agenda for the today's session, ma'am has given my introduction, so I'll skip my slide. Only the one thing I'm looking for, that you all are aware about the basic idea about the software development life cycle. You are aware about some basic concepts regarding the OOPS, that is object-oriented programming language. And I'm expecting that you all are with your laptop where Star UML software is already installed, so that we can directly go for hands-on session. So this is kind of a prerequisites I'm expecting for the today's session. Okay, now what the things I'm going to cover, I'll give the basic idea about what is UML and what are the different diagrams in the UML, and mainly as per the discussion with Aparna ma'am, as she has said that we will focus on two types of diagrams. The one is activity diagram and second is state chart diagram. So basically this covering the behavior of the software, the project on which you are working. We need to understand the behavior, and definitely we will try to focus on that behavioral perspective, where we will try to draw the activity diagram and state chart diagram. And I will take one case study, and with respect to that case study, we will try to cover the activity diagram, state chart diagram, and then we'll have a question answer session also, or not necessary to wait for the last question answer session. At any moment you feel, you can interrupt me, no problem. So let's start with the today's agenda. What is UML? So basic idea, UML, as you all are aware, UML is nothing but it's a unified modeling language. So it is an industry standard graphical language for specifying, visualizing, constructing, and documenting the artifacts of the software system. So whatever the software you are going to develop, that software development life cycle has a various phases like analysis, second phase is designing, then coding, testing, deployment. So when I'm talking about the first phase in the analysis, you have to specify the requirements. And in case of designing, in the cycle phase, what we can say, in case of designing phase, whatever the specification has mentioned by the analyst team, as a designer you have to represent it in some graphical notations. And to represent it in a graphical notations, we are taking the help of a language called as what, UML. So UML uses mostly graphical notations to express object-oriented analysis and design. So understand this process as a OOAD, which stands for object-oriented analysis and object-oriented design. So this is what we are calling. And there is one more term called as what, object-oriented modeling and design, OOMD. That is a different. Understand the difference. We will discuss what actually the difference is. Okay. So at this moment, my simple question is, what is analysis? What is designing? Can anyone help me? Just concept part. I'm not looking for the book definition. What is analysis? What is designing? Anyone, please? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, dear students.
Yes, students, need a two-way communication. If anyone knows the answer, speak it. We already finished this part, SDLC part in detail in the class, right? Try to make the two-way communication. Yes, anyone?
Anyone?
Anyone can answer this question?
What is difference between analysis, or what it makes? Okay. I'll just tell in a simple word. Analysis is nothing but investigation, while designing is nothing but implementation. So that's the part we are going to cover in today's session. We will perform some kind of an investigation, and based on that investigation, we'll try to focus on implementation parts. So these are the two different perspectives that we are going to combine. And combining these two different perspectives, we are calling it as a process of object-oriented modeling and designing. So the basic idea behind making it separate from the designing, as an analysis as a separate phase and a designing as a separate phase, is just the making simplifies the complex process of the software design. Okay. Now, once we got that, in case of UML, or UML is a language we will use for drawing the different diagrams or graphical representation of the software systems. So we have categorized the diagrams into the three parts. The first one I'm calling as a structural diagram. Second type I'm calling as a behavioral diagram, and third as an interaction diagram. Now structural means this is just in a fixed part, whose part will remains fixed, just like a structure. Like if I consider a car, the chassis of that car means that before, where you put an engine, you put engine on the chassis of that chassis number where we note down. So that chassis defines a predefined size of that car, the structure, everything will be get fixed over there. So we are calling them as a structure. So same, the software structural can be represented in the terms of a diagrams, like a object diagram, collection of objects represented in a specific style, we are calling as a class diagram. Then class diagram, once we have, we will organize the class diagram based on type of a packages, like UI package or maybe middleware or at a client side. Accordingly, we will have a different packages, so we'll call as the package diagram. And which package you are going to put at what side, or we will turn it into the parts of a component. Based on that, we have a different diagrams, like a component diagram and deployment diagram. So it represents basic idea about the structure, so called as a type of structural diagram. The most important part is what, behavioral diagram. Now, as the name suggests, behavioral means time being an activity. So simply we call the structural diagram represents the static scenario, whereas the behavioral and interaction diagram will focus on dynamic style. So these two types of diagrams plays a very important role while we are defining the software scenarios. So in behavioral diagram, I'm going to use the use case diagram, then activity diagram, and state chart diagram. Sometimes it is referred as a state machine diagram. Sometimes it is referred as a state chart diagram, though the concept is same. Then in case of interaction diagram, we are going to see the sequence diagram. Then we are going to see the collaboration diagram. Collaboration diagram is nothing but communication diagram. And in some cases of the applications, type of application, depending on that type of applications, we need to think about the timing scenarios. So I'm going to draw the timing diagram. So this is basic idea about the UML diagrams that you already aware. As far as today's sessions we have considered, we will focus on behavioral diagram, and we will try to complete these three diagrams with one simple part where our focus will be mainly on activity diagram and state machine diagram. But just to understand it, I am going to show you with one small use case diagram also. So let's move to the next part, UML modeling. That part we have just discussed. So again, no need to get worried about this. Structural, I'm calling as a simply static diagram. Behavioral and represents the dynamic feature of the system, and this architectural represents the blueprint of the entire system. As a part of this OMD parts, we can see. In case of structural diagram, we have just mentioned. Important part here is no need to worry about the object diagram, or no need to draw the separate object diagram, because we are going to represent it in the class diagram also. Again, no need to draw the separate package diagram also. Packages we are going to represent in terms of a component diagrams also. So in case of structural diagram, we need to think about the three diagrams. Means there, as far as the structural part is considered, you have to have with the three diagrams. The first as a class diagram, second as a component diagram, and third as a deployment diagram. Is it clear? Okay. Now next, after structural diagram, behavioral diagram. And in type of a behavioral diagram, remember the sequence to draw the behavioral diagram. You can start with the use case diagram, interaction diagram, and activity diagram. So I'm calling this as an behavioral diagram. Now see, is the sequence needed there? Yes, we have to draw the diagrams in a sequence. And as I or as per my experience, or if we prefer to the various corporate structures, they are preferring to draw the diagrams in the format of first as a use case diagram, then as an activity diagram, and then as a, what we can say, interaction diagrams, and then we can go with one more behavioral diagram, that is one state chart diagram. And the same sequence we are going to follow. Or even the tool which we are going to use, that is what star UML tool. I have shared the link from where you can download, or it is available online also. You can search it. So I'm selecting the rational approach. There are so many different views are there. So this is the way you are going to work. So I'm selecting the rational approach. Rational approach is an approach, if we select this, as per the tradition of OMT technology, object oriented modeling. And this is the part where three scientists, Ikva Jacobson, Grady Bush, and one more person, they came together and started with a new approach called as what OMT approach, because these three scientists represented different things in different notations, which may create a problem. So to solve that problem, they came together and started one approach we are calling simply as a rational approach. So I'm selecting this rational approach and say okay. See here, I'm getting here four views: use case view, logical view, component view, and deployment view. So our focus today will be basically on a use case view. Now, if I select this use case view and right click, I'm able to draw the diagrams here. This many diagrams I'm able to draw. But as far as this use case view is considered, in use case view, we are going to complete the three diagrams. The first is use case diagram, and second is activity diagram. Is this part clear? Types of UML diagram, basic for any software type of a project, maybe your mini project or maybe your major project, you have to have with this minimum eight UML diagrams. The first one is use case diagram, second one will be your activity diagram, then you can have your class diagram, then state chart diagram, component diagram, and deployment diagram. You have to have with minimum these many diagram. So let's start with the first use case diagram. So I'm taking the directly with tool. I'll save the project, click on the save, and I'll give the name as on desktop. I'll create a folder, demo project, and save this. Okay. I'll give the name to the project. I'll give the name login system. Which system I'm working for? Just imagine Gmail login or Gmail system. I'll give the name to the project Gmail system. Okay, so you all are aware about what is Gmail system. Gmail system is a system which allows the different users to create an account. After creating an account, set user ID, set password, and then they will able to compose the emails, send the emails, receive the emails, etc. So that system I want to use. So with respect to that, I'm going to draw one simple use case diagram. So when I click over here, I'll select this use case view, right click, add a diagram, and I will select the first diagram called as what? Use case diagram. I'm calling it Gmail system, Gmail login system. So simply I'm going to draw this. I need one actor over here. Select this, add a diagram, sorry. I'll select use case diagram and I'll rename this Gmail login system. Simply double click. Okay, so I need one actor is what? Anything which can be represented in a stickman notation. We are calling it as what? Actor. So I'm giving the name simple as a user, any user. Okay, now user will be there and we'll have one system over here. I'm calling that system simply as, I'm renaming this as a Gmail system. Okay. Who is actor? Actor is anyone who is outside of the system and interested to interact with the system. We'll call them as what? Actor. So maybe human being, maybe hardware, or maybe any other software who is interested to interact with your system. Now system is what you are going to develop. So I'm going to develop Gmail system. So remember, I'm going to develop the Gmail system. Now, with respect to this Gmail system, what are the things I'm going to perform, or what system is going to perform, called as what? Functional requirement. So we need to identify different functionalities, different operations that system is going to perform. So my Gmail system is allowing user to perform login, my first functionality, login. Second, will be able to allow the users to compose a mail, compose mail. Next, it should be allowing user to read mails. So read, compose, I'll rename it, compose email. Then next, read email. Okay, so this is the simplest part they are allowing. Just a second. Sorry. Okay. Read email, then compose email, and these are the basic. After this, we can add simply log out. One more option over there. So how the system at this level, I am not worried about the type of relationship. You might have seen, you might have learned different types of relationships are there. So basic type of relation, we start with association. There are the two types of association. Association is simple semantic relationship between the two classifiers. When you are not much aware about the type of relationship, we can start simply with an association. Association come with two types, maybe directed association and maybe bidirectional association. So in case of use case diagram, we'll start with the directed association. Student, means any user can able to perform the login with Gmail system, can able to compose a mail, can able to read a mail, can able to perform the logout option. So this is basic idea. There are still so many other options are also there, but I'm starting at the initial level and I'm saving this. Is we will call this simple as a user interaction with the systems. We will call it as what? Use case diagram. Is this clear? Basic idea? Yes, students, please reply something. Yes, no. Is this basic idea clear?
Students, are you all there? Give reply.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, Prathamesh, thank you for your quick reply. All of you, please be responsive. Whether you are getting or not, kindly you can give immediately a response to me. Okay. So, are you aware about how to draw?
Yes, sir.
How to draw the
Yes,
basic
sir.
use case diagram? Okay. With addition to this, you can perform. For example, suppose in detail, if I go, how the student will perform the login means any user can perform the login. To perform the login, again, as per the specification, we need to maintain kind of an action called as what? Some prerequisites are there. So I'm going to represent some kind of a prerequisites over here. And the prerequisite is one of the sign up. User has to perform sign up option. So I'm just adding that sign up option here. So sign up will be there as an include part. Before a signing, user cannot perform a login. That is also one way to represent, or you can represent like user sign up extends login. In the sign up, whether you will get a chance to enter your UID and enter your password. That parts you need to keep into the consideration. So this I have just represented. I will take this diagram outside so that I can able to share with you. So I'll click on this option, export the diagram, Gmail login system, and I'll save it on a desktop. You can just check it out. My diagram is saved over here. Now it is visible to all of you. Now you all are aware about these types of a diagram. Now our main part is to focus, means these are the notations, actor, stickman notations. Oval notation can be used for use cases. The same notations we have used here. Actor, any user, and I'll add one more user over here just for our understanding purpose. Who is the admin or the owner of this? So I'm calling as a admin. Will be responsible to maintain the entire system. So this I will be consider as a simple directed association label to perform the entire operations. So now this diagram is. Any doubt regarding whatever the parts I have shown so far? If not, we'll go for the next diagram. Now, what is my next diagram? Next diagram is activity diagram. As the name suggests, activity diagram, it is nothing but simply a flow chart to represent the flow from one activity to another activity. So UML activity diagram offers rich notation to show a sequence of various activities. So it is nothing but just a simply flow chart. What I'm understanding, this is one of the operation I have shown to you. What will be the flow for this operation? So that flow we are going to discuss. So can anyone help me to understand the flow for the login? Yes. Login flow. What is the normal flow for the login? Any user. So if I write here, user open browser. Okay. Second, user enters user credentials, or in short I will write the user enter user ID and password. Third, yes, correct, Sneha, username and password. User opens the browser, user enters user ID password, then user clicks on submit button. But as soon as user clicks on the submit button, there are the two options. The first option may be I'll calling as login successful, or one more option
Login failed.
I'm calling for that as login failed. The next part after this I can add as a fifth point. There may be one of the possible condition, fourth one or this or fourth this, after login successful or login failed. Is my flow clear? This is just way I am writing. This is just I'm calling as what? Flow chart. The same flow chart we can represent with the help of one diagram, and that type of a diagram I am calling as what? Simply activity diagram. So just see here. From where I need to start an activity diagram. Select one of the activity. These are nothing but activities. Select one of the activity. For example, I am selecting the login activity. Select it and click add a diagram and select the diagram activity diagram. I'll repeat, pay attention. Select one of the activity from use case diagram. So you any that's why I said to you to draw the diagrams. Is any proper sequence required? Yes, the proper sequence to draw the diagram is first complete your use case diagram, collect all possible users over there, collect all possible use cases over there. Now once you complete your use case diagram, then go for the next type of diagram called as one activity diagram. How to draw the activity diagram? Select any activity at a time, any operation at a time, or any functionality at a time in a more simple way. Right click, add a diagram, and select the diagram activity diagram. So I'm selecting an option called as one activity diagram. For whom you are going to draw this? I'm going to draw this for the login. So I'm giving the name login activity diagram. Just select this, double click your diagram. Now see here, which type of a diagram is open, accordingly you are getting the toolbox over here. If I open the use case diagram, accordingly toolbox is open here. If I open now activity diagram, accordingly this toolbar is get open. So remember, no need to worry, the tool is so intelligent, the software is so intelligent, it is allowing you which type of a diagram you are doing and what will be the supportive tools required will be there in the toolbox. Okay. Now any activity
Please,
starts with the yes.
sir, the version of star UML you are using and the which I downloaded is different, sir.
Okay, that's why what I will do after this session or in chat also, I'll share you one link. Okay, this is my blog, and on my blog I have kept one link over here, so you can just over there, open this, and inside this you will get one part here, software link, star UML, and just click on the
Somnath,
software link.
sorry to disturb you.
Yes.
Actually, this same link is already given to all the students yesterday itself.
Okay, but still no problem. They can download. Hardly 2 minutes it takes, and you can download with this star UML 5.0. Installation steps, everything is given to you.
Thank you, sir.
So you can continue it. Meanwhile, just pay attention. Now click on this login activity diagram. Okay. Now this is the normal things what I have showed to you. This is open a browser user. This is normal scenario. The same thing. See here, I'm going to do. So any activity, it always starts with the start state. So I'll go to the toolbox. See here, I'm getting here option initial state, final state. So understand the difference. This is initial, this is final. These are the UML notations to represent the start state. I'll show you just for the purpose. This is start, this is finish, or end state normally we call. This is link. I'm just connecting this. And this is end. Okay. I hope you are aware about this start state, end state, basic rule. Okay. I'll just ask one simple question. For any activity, how many start states will be there and how many end states will be there? I'm repeating my question. Pay attention. Those who will give the clear answer, I'll repeat my question. For any activity, how many start states will be there and how many end states will be there? Take a time
Sir,
and give me the answer.
there is only one start state and there can be many end states.
May I know the name who has given the answer?
Sir, Kaustubh.
Very good, Kaustubh. Very good, very good, very good. Any other answer? Yes. Sai Ram also has given the correct answer. One start state and many several end states. Very good. Very good. So it gives a clear idea about your basic conceptual parts are very good. Very good. I'm happy. I'll keep this part aside. So we will start with the start state. So first activity, I'm selecting the extend state and add here. The first activity is what? Open internet browser. So we'll consider that the browser is already open over here. That preconditions we will consider here as an enter user ID. Okay. The next action will be enter password. The next part, user will click on submit button, but that click on submit button will have another so many different states or different actions. So I'm just considering that part as a simple text, and here click on submit button. So I'll just put this as a center part. Okay. This is what the same part we have done up to this. Enter user ID, enter password, click on submit button. Now once user click on the submit button, there are possible actions, there are possible operation. One is login successful and one is login failed. Is this correct? Okay. Now see how my flow is going to happen. I'm connecting with the transition. Transition means it is leading you from one possible action to another possible action. We are calling it as what? Transition. So user ID to enter password, and then from enter password to click on the submit button. And from submit button, I have two possible actions. I have two possible transitions, either to the login successful or I may go to login failed. So I'm selecting this transition to the login failed. Okay, just I'll move from this to this. Okay, now it is there. Just to make it more understandable, I have reorganized it. Started activity, a user has entered user ID and user has entered a password and user has simply clicked on the submit button. But after clicking on the submit button, there are two possible options, maybe opportunities, we can say as an alternative flows. So one is login successful, one is maybe the condition as a login failed. Now to get the result login successful, there is one condition. And what is that condition? My user ID and password should match. So that condition in UML we are calling simply as a guard condition. So how to put that guard condition? I hope you have covered theoretical part. So I'm not giving much tense on the theoretical part. We'll try to see more and more hands-on parts. So I'm just selecting this particular transaction and I will add the condition called as what? Guard condition. Here E user ID and password match. If user ID and password match, then and then only after clicking on the submit button, the next operation will be getting a message as a login successful. After the login successful, if you want to stop, you can select this final state and you can complete this login successful. This is one way that your flow will happen. Another possibility, after the login successful, if user ID and password mismatch, means either user ID wrong or password wrong or both wrong. So I will simply type here UID and password mismatch. There may be a possibility of login failed. Now after login failed, again, this is what the part I have covered so far. Now with respect to this, we can extend our diagram in more simplest style. Okay, if any of one of the user getting the message login failed, so normal what the thing is, after the login failed, user again interested to take the initiative. So I will take one more decision here and I will say simply this as a want to start. I'll put a message here, simply retry. Okay. Whether user interested to perform the retry operation, will having this transition from this. Okay, if your answer is correct, means if you are interested or if you are not interested, so accordingly I will put the condition here, not interested. So no, directly end, or if yes, we start with again entering user ID. Select this to this, rearrange, and your answer is with the condition as S. So see here, I'll consider this end part here. One more additional parts. After submit also I can end directly. Maybe there's some possible options over there. Sorry. Tool is not allowing me, but not a problem. Just might be. Now it will allow me. So I'll take the diagram outside of this. Again, go to an option file, export a diagram, login activity diagram, and save this. If you want to change the color combinations, you can change format, fill color, line color, fonts, up to your designing parts. Whatever you want to take, you can take. So this is what my login activity diagram. I'm starting with the start state, enter user ID, enter password. Now user click on the submit button. So I have a possible options either to start with the login successful or to start with the login failed. But the condition to go for login successful is what? The guard condition that I'm putting here. Whatever user ID and password I have entered should match then and then only login successful, or else I'm getting a message as a login failed. After login failed, want to retry. If your answer is yes, again you can start this process. If your answer is no, you can stop this. Okay. Again, some conditions you can also add over here, like how many attempts you want to try. If your answer is yes, but you should need to think about the attempts also. That condition also you can add over here. Guard condition yes, but provided condition is attempt maximum attempts. Suppose I am giving as 5 only. If number of attempts to retry is 5 in a particular day, then and then only I will allow to go for this, or else I will directly go to an end option. We are calling this simply as an activity diagram. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Any doubt so far?
No,
Now,
sir.
in some times you are getting the options like here swim lane, then vertical, horizontal, or you are getting an option like synchronization. Decision part we have seen, then flow control, final concept. So that for that purpose, we will show one more diagram. Are you getting how to draw the diagrams?
Yes, sir.
Purpose of the diagram, basic components we have discussed. Okay. I'm talking about this join and fork option. So basically these options will be working some concurrent actions. So the concurrent actions, for example, I'm showing in one diagram. So this diagram is representing about the admission process. So whether the payment done, hostel allotment done, and medical checkup done, this the parallel actions are going on. If any one of this condition get failed, you will not allow it to go for the process. So these concurrent actions will be considered here. Only one line, and you are getting more than one part. We are calling it as what? Fork. Exactly reverse of the fork is join. This line, if you see my cursor, this is join. You can see here. Okay. I'll add one more diagram just to show you. Okay. I'll save this part. Then login Gmail system. Okay. Then in case of sign up, I'll add one more diagram, add activity diagram. As usual, start, then initial set, open browser, open the browser. Okay. Then next activity, enter user details. Enter user details. In that case, you have to enter your name, date of birth, mobile number, etc. Now the next section you need to decide. So I'm using the synchronization. Now this synchronization can be used in two styles, as a join or as a fork. Now as a join, for example, in case of parallel actions, only one action I'm going to take, but there are so many things. Suppose I need to check user ID availability. Need to check, and at the same time we need to think about the set password. Some conditions are there to set the password. That password must be of minimum 8 characteristics, starting letter, ending letter, numbers, combinations. These all the parts are going to perform parallelly. So I'm using this synchronization options over here. So write this set transitions. Okay. And I'll perform this up to the end. Now here two actions I'm performing parallelly. So I'm using this option as a fork. Sorry, join. Just here, I'm just collecting. Sorry, I'm just collecting this part. Transition this to this. So the two parallel actions are going on here. So just only one input, but more than one output I am getting over here. See here, a block with one flow going into it and several leaving it. This denotes the beginning of parallel activities. And a block bar with the several flows entering into it and one leaving it denotes the end of the parallel activities. In that case, we can use the fork and join option over here. So after completion of this activity, I can add only one part over here. So I'll use this simply as a synchronization. Okay. If I set the password, this is the parallel activity end, means user ID is available and my password is successfully done, then I can stop activity and the activity is completed, sign up completed. I can stop this process over here.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, what if we have to perform OR operation? Means here we are performing AND operation. So is there something which will allow us to perform OR operation also?
Okay. In that case, you can use the swim lane options. The swim lane options. I'll show you. Just a second. I'll show you. See here, more than one input and exactly one output. I'm calling this as a join operation, and exactly reverse, this is fork operations. Only one input but more than one output. We'll call it as a fork options, and combining these all just merge options. Okay. Now coming back to your question is swim lane. Now when we will use the swim lane options, when at a time more than one conditions are there, just like you said, or conditions I want to check. I'll show you with one more example. I'll select this. I'll go to an option again, bank. Okay, I will directly add one diagram here. Add diagram, activity diagram, activity diagram. Select course. For example, I just want to select the course. Action set, start. Okay. Just imagine I'm in a third year student and I want to select the four courses, the five courses for particular semester, but the condition is that three courses must be compulsory and two choices elective courses are there. Out of that two, means out of that four elective courses, you have to select any two courses. So total five courses in that style you have to select. In that case, we can use the swim lane options, means or conditions are there. So the first option is select course. Now while selecting the course, I need to check the schedule also. So I'm or condition, one more condition I am doing here. The condition is, or condition I am writing here is check schedule also. Now why I'm selecting this check schedule? See here, action state, select P primary course. Now while whatever the subject I am selecting, at the same time I need to select the schedule also. Take schedule. Why this is needed? Because suppose I have selected one course as a OMD, second courses as a software testing, third course as a Unix, fourth as a machine learning, and fifth as a IoT. But just imagine the class for the IoT and the class for the OMD is at the same time. Is it possible for one student to attend the two different classes at the same time? Definitely not. So at that time, we can use these concepts of swim lanes. That is what the OR options. Getting?
Yes, sir.
Decisions will be taken there. We have to select the courses which will not overlap to each other. In that case, we can use this. Is this clear? I
Yes,
hope
sir.
I have given the answer to your question.
Yes,
So
sir.
please reply. This is about the basic idea about the activity diagram. So please let me know any doubt there regarding the activity diagram. This is one more example. You can take the screenshot for the join and fork. That's about the activity diagram. Then decision flow, final swimlane concept we have discussed. Activities, association, conditions part also we have seen. The constraints, the part also we have discussed. These are the advantages of the activity diagram, modeling the workflow. So once you are aware about this entire workflow, so we call this as a simply as a business flow, the moving from one action to another action or one operations to another operation. It will clear your activity diagram. These are the again different notations. I'm just giving these examples to you. Order management system. Just see. I have completed this diagram already for the saving time. And just take, since I have just taken out this, you can draw it the same. Now you how to draw this? You can take the help of the tools and you can just continue with these parts. That's all about activity diagram. I hope within time limit, whatever the time limit we have, I tried to show you the basic idea how what is activity diagram and how to draw the activity diagram. What else options are there with respect to tool? Is this part clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shall we go for the next? Called
Okay,
as
sir.
what? State chart diagram. Sometimes it is referred as a state machine diagram also. So what is difference between activity diagram and state diagram? So activity diagram just tells us the transition from one activity to another activity. But in state chart diagram, it will describe the entire scenario, how object can get into and how object state changes as a result of events that reach to a particular object. So to understand this, we will take simple example of a gun. Just imagine a gun loaded with bullets is in your hand, and when you click trigger or when you press trigger, bullet comes out. So what you do? You have performed one action, and action is you just click on trigger. The moment you click on the trigger, bullet comes out. So that is what representing the actions in terms of one style we are calling simply as representing the activities, representing the transitions from one state to another states in the help of state chart diagram. So it identifies different states controlled by internal or external events, and it also describes the flow control. So the basic purpose to represent the dynamic model, lifetime of reactive systems, different states the particular object perform, and machine model represents, or rather we can simply say it defines a state machine to model the states of an objects. So see here, the simple part. The transitions are shown as arrows, the same stat diagram we have discussed. Activities, the same, but here the notation is somewhat just changed. We are represented with an simple rectangles, rounded rectangles. Initial state, we will discuss. Moving from one state to another state. We will call it as one state chart diagram. Initial state. A simple state is represented with this rounded rectangle, and A state with internal activities we will represent over here. Transition, again the same part of a transitions we are getting here. Initial state, then final state. Now how to draw a state diagram, that part we will discuss. Okay, as I rightly mentioned, again we will start with the use case diagram. Select the login. I'll show you again for the login. Is my screen visible? Okay. Select the login as a use case from activity diagram. Right click, add a diagram, and I'll select the diagram here as a state chart diagram. We have seen the activity diagram. Now we'll try to cover the state chart diagram. Select the state chart diagram. Rename this login state chart diagram. Select this. Okay. Now as usual, this is starting with the start state, initial state. Again, we are going to use the end state. So I'm just taking the help. My first page, that is I am on login page. So I'm calling, shall I say, see here. My browser is open over here and I'm starting with www.gmail.com. I'll enter here. By default, it is taking login for me. So I'm showing it with rediffmail.com. I click on rediffmail. This is what my initial phase. So it is asking more me to enter the username and password. So I'm calling this simply as a home page. So the initial state you are representing here as login home page. Okay. Now you will be there on the login home page, and from login home page you may be getting to a message. Suppose I'll enter my user ID, I'll enter my password over here, and I'll click on submit button, sign in. The moment I click on sign in button, I'm going to this message. And how I came to know that I came to this page, I'm getting a message here, hi Somnath. So I'll get to this, means if my user ID and password match, I'll get the message over here. So I'll say here simply welcome page. And just imagine my user ID and password wrong, means maybe any one of them is wrong. I'm getting here wrong username and password combination. So it may be the possibility that I'm getting next state here as error page. Just to understand, I'm writing this. So these are the possible transactions I have just mentioned over here. Okay. Now, when I'm trying to draw the state chart diagram, how I came to this home page starting with initial to a transition from start to home page, how I came. So these actions I'm calling as what? Do actions. Now, what the things I'm going to do inside this login page? What I'm going to do here on a login page, I'm going to write my user ID, I'm going to write my password, and I'm going to click on submit button. These are called as what? Actions. Here, for any activity, you can have minimum 3 different types of actions. So called as what? Entry actions, do actions, and exit actions. How I will exit from this home page? When I click on sign in, I have moved to this page. So this is exit button, like exit activity. So how you came to this login page? By performing entry actions. What you are going to do on the home page, called as what? Do actions and exit actions. So let's add the entry actions first. You can just click over here. See here, these 3 types of actions are there: entry actions, then do actions, and exit actions. One by one we will add. How I came to this home page? I will add the entry actions. So I'll edit it. Enter URL in browser. Yes. After entering the URL, I came to the home page. What URL I have entered here? What URL I have entered? I have entered the URL www.rediffmail.com. I am on home page. I am on simple home page. Getting? Okay. On login page, what I have entered, that is what I am calling do actions. So what do actions I will perform? I will enter user ID. Enter UID. I'll add one more do action. That is enter password. These are the do actions. Close this. Now see here, you can easily read. If it is visible, or shall I increase the font? Okay. I hope my screen is visible. I have entered user ID. I have entered password. These are the do actions. What you are going to do on the login page. Okay. Now, how you will move from login page to another page, means to another state, by performing exit option. So what is exit option over here? That I will add here. Select this exit action. Exit action is simply you will click on submit button. By mistake, I added it. Edit it. Then click on simply submit button. Close this. Okay. Can you see the difference? This is entry action. This is do action. This is do action. This is exit action. How you came to this login home page? By performing an entry, entering the URL. What you are going to do with this login page? You are going to enter user ID. You will going to enter password. And how you will move from this page? You will move from this page by performing exit option. So that is click on submit button. Now there may be the possibility that in even in case of activity diagram we have seen, there may be the possibility of these two conditions. So accordingly, I have added two more states. So maybe one of the possible condition is to move from this page to this page. One of the possible may be from this page to this page, or one may be the possible I am representing as a self transition. Again, I'll be on the home page. If connection lost or something get lost. Okay. Just I'll move from the login page to the welcome page. Now, whatever the way we have entered the user ID, whatever the way we have added three actions, three types of actions like do actions, entry actions, do action, and exit action. There will be the same category for this welcome page also. So how to define this? Again, the way I have defined it. So for example, do actions I will add over here so that you can perform. How I will come to this welcome page, entry action. The simplest part is when user performs the submit button. Yes, Kaustubh? Any query there?
No, sir. I was giving answer.
Okay. Then do actions. You will be there. Okay. Just perform this. Okay. Only the one condition that we need to take into the consideration, that you will move from one state to another state only when there will be a proper guard condition. So I'll put the guard condition over here, that if UID and password correct or match, then and then only you will move from login home page to welcome page. This is entry. When you will come to this, when user ID, when user will exit from home page, will enter to welcome page, provided the condition is user ID and password is match. Then how the transition will help, means how the user will come to know that the transition is happened over here. So that may create some kind of triggers or some kind of an effects. So effect I will add over here. The effect is display welcome page, and trigger, what it happens, it displays who has entered. So it displays the message on the screen, welcome plus whatever user ID you have entered, UID will display, disclose. So this way you can write the complete state chart diagram. See here how to read this diagram. I am on a home page. I will enter user ID. I'll enter a password, means this is the do actions. As soon as I click on the submit button, if my user ID and password matches, I'll move from one state to another state. The effect I'm getting here, welcome plus user ID. How I'm getting whether my user ID and password is correct or not? Just see, I'm on this home page. Ready home or mail. Okay. I will enter my password. Okay, I have entered. I will enter my user ID. I will enter my password. Okay, this is my home page. The moment I click on submit button, I'll be exiting from this page and I'll be entering to the new page called as what? Welcome page. You can just read here. Hi and my user ID. Whose login I have performed? I'm getting the message here. So this is called as what? Transitions from one state to another state. Condition, user ID and password is correct. So once you are in the welcome page, whatever you want to do, you can do. Error page, when you will get the message, are you clear with this? Sorry, I'm running
Yes,
so
sir.
fast. Are you getting whatever the parts I have shown?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, very good, very good. Now similarly on this error page you can add the condition user ID and password mismatch. You'll get the message again. You can have this effects over here, error page, and how you are coming to this error page. Do actions you can add over here. The do actions, that is entry action, sorry, not do action. Entry action will be click on the submit button, will be there. Okay. If user ID and password mismatch, again the effects you can add over here. That effect is you can add the message over here, that is error, and trigger you can add over here. The trigger will again want to retry. This is again moving back to home page, wants to retry. If your answer is yes, we can go back to the welcome page. So I'm getting here error page wants to retry the condition again provided. I'll move back to the home page. So I can move one more transition from this to this with the condition if your answer is retry. If it is to retry and answer is correct, means if your answer is yes, you can go back to this again home page. Exit. I'll be on a home page till I enter my user ID and password. After this retry, if you want to take the pause, you can take a pause. So in this way, you can able to perform various diagrams. So I'll add one more end state over here. Okay. Similarly, here will be again some join fork options will be there. So synchronization, then self transition I have shown to you, join function check. Okay. Choice point means the decisions. Sometimes you need to, again, if you are remembering the example what we have taken, the example talking about the two things I need to select at a time. Course, provided the condition, no overlapping. So I need to check the schedule also. So I'm getting the choice whether I will fix my schedule, and based on schedule, whatever the subjects are there, I will go, or I will go with the subject and I will select the schedule accordingly. So that choice point also you can just take junction point. So these are the basic options you can utilize. I will take this diagram outside of this, edit, export the diagram, login, state chart diagram, save this. This is what my login. You can take the screenshot so that whenever you will get a time, you try to perform the hands-on the same. Okay. So this is what I would like to show you. Still there are again options are there, but that will be based on the tool efficiency, how you are going to add this. So this is basic idea about activity diagram, basic idea about the state chart diagram or state diagram simply. Any doubt there? Any? The forum is now open for the question answer. Madam, any point from your side that you'd like to add?
No, sir, that is fine.
Whatever the examples I have taken, is it sufficient?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
I hope all our students will got all the concept whatever you have taught today. Yes, students.
Yes,
Any
ma'am.
doubt? Any
No, ma'am.
doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Anyone having any doubt? I'm asking last time.
No, ma'am.
If you want to ask, you can ask to sir. So, sir, is it over from your side?
Yeah, over. If any question, please let me know.
Okay. Yes, students, any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So I'll conclude today's session. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time and the guidance. And I hope all of our students got the benefit from your lecture. And then I hope the same kind of a support and help in future as well.
Definitely, it will be my pleasure to interact with the students. So thank you once and all, and I wish all the best, students. Don't means take this subject as a challenge. Whenever you will join any organization, your basic work starts with these types of diagrams. So I wish all the best, and again I would like to say thanks to ma'am for giving me an opportunity. And please let me know. I'm sharing my contact details, my mobile number, my email ID, and my blog details are with you. You can send me a message at any moment. Thank you. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, Kaustubh?
Sir, can you please share that slide which contains your contact details? Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you once again. Bye-bye. Have a nice day to all of you.
Thank you, ma'am.